Hey everybody, Blaine Austin here at Sewing Machines Plus, and welcome to our Thursday live show. We have got a great show for y'all today. We have Alba Fekete. Yes, Alba is back. It's been a while since she's been here, but Alba's coming in today. We're going to talk all about that Juki DX4000. This is the expert edition, Kyle, by the way. Say hello to Kyle and Andrew in here this morning with me. And guys, we just got back from Road to California Quilt Show, and oh my gosh, that was a lot of work. I think I was there for, yeah, everybody's a little tired. We were there, I was there from Sunday through Saturday. So got to come home, but I tell you what, if any of y'all are watching today, we're at the Road to California, put a 1 in the chat right now, because I got to meet so many awesome people of the SMP Nation there, and it was a lot of fun. But we're going to show you a few pictures. Y'all want to see a few pictures from it if you didn't get to see, because I know our broadcast from there was pretty bad. It was the Wi-Fi was terrible in that building, and we tried a hotspot. We tried everything we could do to get the picture better, but it just wouldn't cooperate. And somebody said, hey, we would rather see it blurry than not get to see it at all. So we went ahead and did all 3 days from there. But before we show some pictures and talk a little bit about that, let me just say a little bit of shout out to the SMP Nation watching today. We have Ralphie Nix watching. So, hey, Ralphie, South Carolina. We have Kathy Brooks in Central Florida. Hey, Kathy. And we have Sharon Bingham in Eastern Kansas. So, hey, Sharon. Belinda Bryan, Central Florida. Hey, Belinda. And we have Donna Lagu. Is that right, Lagu?
Likewise.
I don't know. Donna, I hope I'm not butchering your name. I usually do. She's in New Hampshire. We have Leslie Gardner in Texas. And we have my mom, Marietta Austin in Bono, Arkansas watching. So, hey, Marietta. And we also, I know Michelle, my wife, is watching this morning. So she's always watching. But anyway, let's show some pictures from the show. And so right there, that was our Janome booth that we had. And you see the little enter to win. We're actually going to announce the winners from Road to California today as well. We actually gave away a Elena sewing machine, and we gave away a Butler robotics with a cutie frame. And the way it's set up is you can put your domestic machine on there, add stitch regulation, and you can have robotics on that frame. So it's pretty cool. So we gave one of those away as well. But in that booth you see on the left, y'all, she's been on our show before. That's Christine Dolliner. So Christine worked the booth for us. And then you see the other lady, that is Kelly McKenzie. She's a quilting expert, and they were just awesome in the booth. So we really appreciate them coming and working. All right, Andrew, what's our next picture? All right, that is our very own Laura Jimenez. Now, Laura, she was running, doing all kinds of things. She is a jack of all trades. She was doing the POS there, I think, but she works at our San Marcos store, very well versed on just about every brand of machine. She is really, really good. And so if you are ever in the San Marcos store, you make sure you find Laura and say hi. Oh, and this is Carrie Hansen. Y'all probably remember Carrie. She is a very well-known professional quilter. She's been on our show many, many times. And the funny thing about right here, she was working, she actually was in the Sew Steady booth, but she had Stacy Louie's name tag on, so I had to take a picture of it. Stacy Louie is from Sew Steady, and she couldn't come she had a problem with her leg and couldn't come. That's Darrell Anderson on the right. She's been on our show before, and Darrell is educator for Viking and Pfaff. And let's see who. Oh, there's our very own Michael. Now, Michael Fernandez, he works in our San Marcos store as well, and he was running the Happy booth for us, Happy Embroidery, and that is that monster machine we've been telling y'all about. That thing it's 15 needles, and if you look at the hoop size, and it's kind of getting cut off a little bit. it doesn't seem like, well, no, I guess we're seeing it showing.
A
No,
little-
it's
a
cut.
little bit's cut.
Yeah, it's a little bit cut off. That thing is, the hoop on it is 47 inches wide by 16.5 inches deep. So that's the embroidery field. So what is so awesome about this, if you are wanting to make patches, like if you want to be in the patch business, this thing, you just put the design in, hit multiply, and it fills in the embroidery field automatically. It fills the whole thing up with those patches, and you can sit there and just embroidery patches out all day long. That thing was awesome. It'll do quilting. You can see Michael to the right of the screen there that he's got his hand on. That was a quilt that we did on it with quilting design, and it was just really awesome. So, all right, Andrew, what's our next picture? All right, that is in the Aero cabinets booth, and you can see that's Candace. Y'all remember Candace? She was working in the Aero booth for us, helping us out. And our next picture. All right, can anybody guess who I'm standing with?
Yeah. Give me a second.
All right, I want everybody to put who I'm standing with right there in the chat right now, if you know who that is. I'll give you a hint. Extremely famous in the sewing industry. She was one of 2 sewers that actually had a television show on PBS for years. Oh, look at there. Everybody's getting it. That is the one and only Eleanor Burns.
Surprisingly, a lot of people said it was her mom.
Oh, they thought that was my mom?
Yeah, it's more people,
No, not my mom.
Or Quilting a Day, which is also.
That is Quilting a Day. That is Eleanor Burns. I wish my mom would have got to come out. That'd been kind of cool. Yeah, that is Eleanor, and I tell you what, she's extremely famous. I mean, everybody knows Eleanor Burns. That is Valerie Tribble. Y'all have seen her on her show. She's with Aero, and you know, she had to stick her tongue out at me naturally. And there is Becky Thompson with Power Tools with Threads. Y'all know Becky. She was working our King Quilter booth, and that's Nicholas Turkin with her. He's from Canada, and he's an educator for Handy Quilter. He stopped by and said hello, and we got to chat with him a little while. He's been on our show before. Nicholas was funny. And looky there, that is Belle Bruner on the left. She's been on our show many times. And look at our very own co-host, I have a lot, Jane Klaus, was learning how to free motion quilt on a King Quilter sit down. And she was doing a good job, actually. I was shocked. First time she's ever done it. That's Aubrey Hartman. She's doing a demonstration with Butler Robotics on the King Quilter. So she was there with us. What else we got? That one again. Oh, all right. So this was our AccuQuilt booth. And that is one of our teachers, Michelle, on the right. And our another teacher in the middle, that's Marina. And then on the left, that was Kendall. Now, Kendall she's a customer and has 220 of the AccuQuilt dies. And she came and worked the show. And I'm telling you, I don't think it's every die, but it's a bunch. But Kendall was fantastic, and so was Michelle. I tell you, and Marina was too. All 3 of them were awesome. Marina kind of jumped around and worked different booths, but Michelle and Kendall stayed in the AccuQuilt booth the whole time. They did a fantastic job, worked great together as a team, and everybody just loved their demonstration. So we're going to try to do something with them again. That was a lot of fun. And we've already shown this one. All right, that is Harley Thomas. Y'all know old Harley from Aero. He's there in the booth, and he was showing a cabinet to a customer. So anyway, that was what was going on. Now, I got to tell you about this picture. This is cool California Granny, right? And I got to meet her and her daughter at the Road to California, and what a pleasure. Super, super nice. And so she sent me email, and I told her, you know, we got pictures back, so please send me a picture. And she emailed it to me, and you know, gave us a great little note along with it. And but I got to tell you, she had a story she was telling me about she has a Juki TL98 straight stitch machine. And so I got to tell you the story. So I think it was 2003, the wildfires, in California had a lot of people staying indoors, especially those with asthma, such as her friend that she had. And during that time, I brought her food and anything else she needed. She also took note of the fact that she had a brand new Bernina 200 along with some other machines. She even had the nerve enough to have a brand new Juki TL 9800 straight stitch, which was still in the box. So at that time, she cool Granny was just getting into quilting and had an old brother machine, but was ready to get something new. Being an opportunist that she is, she was trying to figure out a way she could get that Juki from her friend. So she went home that night and thought about it, how I could finagle that machine away from her. And her solution was to go over there, bringing her food in her asthmatic state, along with a contract and pre-date checks for her to deposit. So basically, she brought her checks and divided it out and said, here's my payments. And every month you can just deposit a check. And I want to buy this machine. And I thought, while she was still sneezing down and out and not feeling well, I went into my speech and we ended up, needed to give up that machine. I took full advantage of her asthma and finally wore her down. And she reluctantly relinquished the machine to her. And she said, mission accomplished. And she said over the years, she's tried to get the machine back from me with no luck. And she always tells people about how I took advantage of her asthmatic state, which I admit I did. All joking aside, she is more than a friend to me. She is also my mentor, counselor. And our relationship has evolved into this sisterhood. And she just, she said that she's one of our biggest cheerleaders throughout life and quilting. And, I heard that story and I thought, how unique of a story is that? And I just loved that story, loved meeting her and her daughter. And it was a great, great time. So thank y'all for coming up and saying hi to me. And by the way, she says she's real shy on social media. So cool, Callie, Granny, if you're on there today, make sure you chat right now. Get on the chat and let us know you're here. All the SMP Nation is going to make you feel welcome. I promise you. And so don't be shy anymore. Next picture, this is Fran. And I got to meet Fran as well. And, Fran basically, sent me an email with a picture, and another just fantastic, lady. And I was really, really happy. Her name is Fran Rudolph. And so, Fran, thank you so much for coming up and introducing yourself to me. And I got to meet so many nice people there. So I sure do appreciate y'all coming up and saying hi. And it was great to meet some of the SMP Nation. So I want to tell cool Callie, Granny, and Fran both, get on there and chat today. And because you never know, if you chat, guess what? Y'all may win something at the end of the show. And so we're going to give some stuff away. And we hope that y'all will participate and talk and everything. So, all right, let me go over some dates with you real quick. And so we're coming up on March. So that's right there. If you see, that's our regular show calendar for our Thursday show. If y'all want to make a note of that. February the 6th on Thursday is Rosemary King. We're going to talk all about baby lock sergers. On February the 13th, we have Lisa Archer with Pickle Pie Designs. And then February the 20th, we have Joanne Nielsen. She's been on here She's going to talk about the Brewer goat totes. So she will be on here on February 20th. Now, if we switch the other show, the Takeover Tuesday show, as y'all know, there's your superstars right there. You have Jane Klaus, Becky Thompson, Carly Bell, and Joanne Banco. And I had the pleasure, I don't even remember what night it was. You remember what night that was, Kyle? I was on there on Joanne's show. Was it Tuesday night? Wednesday? I don't know. If y'all want to go to Joanne's channel, she had a really good, it's just Let's Go Sew. It was Monday. So Let's Go Sew on YouTube. She had a show on Monday. She had all three other ladies on there. She had Jane, she had Becky, and she had Carly all on the show. And she had texted me and said, hey, can you just jump on and say hi? And so I actually jumped on there and said hi, and actually did a giveaway, a couple giveaways on there. And excuse me. So if y'all want to go check that show out, go to Joanne's channel, which is Let's Go Sew on YouTube. And it was really good content. I think I didn't get to see the whole thing, but I jumped in there, and what I saw was good. And just, you know, the girls telling a little bit about themselves and things. So it was pretty cool. So, all right. Oh, there was a Fran. She just made a post. I forgot what it.
She said super superstars.
Super. Yep, you're right, Fran. All right. So, what was the next one? Was that Joanne?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Joanne says, loving the opportunity to share the love of creating with SMP Nation. Excuse me. Well, thank you, Joanne. That was awesome to say, and thank you for letting me, you know, inviting me to come on and on your show. It was a lot of fun, and get to hang out with you and the other awesome 3 ladies that were there. Speaking of those shows, Takeover Tuesday. So February 4th, y'all write this down. February 4th, it's going to be Becky Thompson with Power Tools with Threads. She's going to be on our Takeover Tuesday. On February the 11th, it's Carly Bell. February the 18th, it's Joanne. And then on February the 25th will be Jane. And so that's the month of February, what shows they're going to be doing. And I'd highly recommend y'all tune in. It's 10 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Central on Thursday or Tuesdays that you can catch one of these great ladies on there doing all kinds of things. The other thing we're going to talk about is March. We have March 10th through the 14th is Quiltfest, and it is going to be here before we know it, Quiltfest. And I hope y'all are ready for it. Where Kyle is and his team has been working on getting the product page launched.
Should be any day.
So hopefully it'll get done by tomorrow, and it'll be where you can go get information. It'll have all the rules on how you enter a quilt, and the submissions will be open so you can enter your quilt pictures of the quilts you've made to enter for the show. So make sure y'all do that. Get inspired to make a quilt if you haven't done one yet. I know people that, you know, they bought a quilt kit, made it, entered it in contest, and actually won 3rd place one year. Remember that? And so it can be done. All right. So April the 11th, 10th and 11th, April 10th and 11th is the Serger Soiree. So y'all make sure y'all tune in. It's going to be 2 days. And this year it's going to be strictly baby lock sergers. So we're going to have some really great educators on there with the baby lock sergers. So you don't want to miss that. And we'll have some great specials going on that. I think that catches us up, Kyle.
I think so.
I think we're caught up. We're already planning out so far ahead of time. Well, today we have a treat for us. We have Alba Fekete with Juki here. And, you know, Alba's been on our show many, many times throughout the years, but it's been a while since she's been on here. So we're super excited to have her today. So y'all make a great big SMP Nation welcome to Alba Fekete. Hey, Alba.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Blaine. It is so nice to be back with you. It's been too long.
I know. It's been forever. Hey, and I know, you know, we always love, I was talking to Kyle and them today before the show. I said, you know, you're so good. You're such a professional educator. You're always prepared, always ready, and you always give such great content. And, you know, everybody loves your training technique because you learn so much. So I'm so happy you're back. So we're going to let you take it away. I know we got a lot to talk about with this machine. And when you get finished up, I'm going to tell them about all the great specials.
Perfect. So today we're talking about the Juki DX4000QVP, the Expert Edition. I'm going to apologize now. I am going to say how beautiful and how stunning this machine is over and over again, because I am absolutely in love. I'm going to lean back so you could get a peek of the machine. It's this beautiful platinum color. It is just dreamy. But this machine is not only the machine and that full package that you're used to with Juki, it has some bonus items, and I'm going to go over those first and then concentrate on the machine. So, excuse me. The bonus that you're getting is the wheel trolley that fits the machine and a scissor bundle. And the wheel trolley is the first thing that I want to go over. So this is one big compartment on the inside. It has a mesh pocket on the back, a mesh pocket on the front, on the interior, so that you could fit all of the supplies that you could possibly want to bring with you. It also has this beautiful padded front pocket. I love this for my rulers so that they don't get damaged and anything else. And also a lip in the front with this nice tie to hold larger things like your cutting mats. So I wanted to show you this just beautiful soft gray roller cart. And this is a beautiful velvety soft gray fabric. And this is what you would expect to see on a high-end sofa. It is beautiful upholstery fabric. So it is just very, very well done, very sturdy, and that's coming along with your machine. Now, along with that is going to be this beautiful blue. It's Juki embossed. I know that probably isn't going to come through on camera very well, but it's holding your scissor set. So it has the shears, the stiletto, the snips, and a smaller scissor as well. So basically the scissors and just supplies that you need for getting started. And I wanted to make sure that everyone knew that both the scissors and the roller bag are coming with that expert edition machine. Now, that expert edition machine is a limited edition. So when this sells out, it will not be available. So I'm sure that you're really going to want this stunning machine in your sewing room as well. So now that I've shown the cart and the scissor, I'm going to start moving on to the machine and everything that comes with that. And the first thing I want to start with is the foot pedal. So with the foot pedal, you'll notice that there's the big sewing side and then there's the side pedal. And a lot of people only think that this does one function. And out of the box, this will do reverse, but it is programmable where you could set it and change it as you need to for 7 different functions. I have them written down, so I'm going to read them off. I can have this do needle up, down, thread trimming. I could have this presser foot go up and down with that side pedal, a locking stitch, a reverse stitch, one stitch sewing, which is wonderful if you're free motioning to bring up bobbin thread, or do no function at all. And I love the fact that I can turn this on, I could turn this off, and I could customize this to do whatever I need it to do. Now, for those of you who followed me and know me over the years, I'm a start-stop gal, but this foot pedal really did impress me. So I wanted to go over that first. Now I'm going to move back and get closer to the machine because I'm going to go over more details of the machine. And I wanted you to see this machine. Now, I said she was a beauty, and I really can't find the words to express just how stunning and beautiful this machine really is. So it has that platinum color all along the base, along the top, and even the spool caps are gray to match that machine. It sounds silly that the color would play an important part, but when you're happy and you love the equipment you're sewing with, it just makes all your projects go together that much easier. So I just wanted to point that out. And now I'm going to get into the meat and potatoes and really all of the phenomenal features that are on this machine. I'm going to start with the extension tray, and I'm going to remove it because this is a free arm machine that gives you 12 inches in the bed and beautiful lighting all through that sewing area. And that lighting can be changed to adapt to where you're at. It goes from a cool light to a warmer light. And we're going to get to that in a bit. But I wanted to show you this extension tray. And I'm going to open up that front cover, and I may do that later for you, but there's storage all in there. One of the things that I did want to show coming with the machine is the extension table, which is also in that beautiful platinum color, which gives you all of that added room, not only that 12 inches in the throat, but all of that extra support that you'll need for all of your sewing projects. I'm going to put some fabric underneath here, and I'm going to start showing you some of the features right on the front of the machine, and then go into the screen with just, it almost seems like an endless amount of features and just things that are going to be there to make your sewing go that much easier. One of the first things that I wanted to point out is that this machine has a smart feed system. And you almost don't notice it because it's completely tucked away in the back. So none of your delicate fabrics are going to get caught on that mechanism. But when I pull that mechanism down, that is giving me that built-in dual feed, that integrated walking foot. So I have an upper set of feed dogs along with the lower feed dog system, which is a 7-piece box feed dog system. So as you're quilting, as you're garment sewing, this gives you that complete control of all your layers of fabric. And it's just that easy to activate or deactivate and get that out of the way. So the fact that I have that smart feed system, that built-in integrated walking foot, just makes this perfect. As I said, whether you're quilting, whether you're garment sewing, any of your crafting, it's going to give you that precision that you need for all of your projects. Now, I am going to go to the machine itself, and I know the screen is a little tough to see on air, but I am going to explain every step of the way as I'm doing something and showing you different areas. So hopefully you'll be able to see that very clearly. Now, right here, I've used a really bright thread so that you could see as I'm sewing. And one of the things that I'm going to point out to you and I'm going to give you as an added tip, when I start sewing, I like to use that scissor function first and eliminate that tail. That way, as I start sewing, I don't have all those tails of thread on my sewing. Now, I've activated some features that are some of my favorites, and I'm going to show them to you right now. My foot automatically went down, and when I hit that lock, it is going to lock in place for me. And you heard that it cut and it raised that foot so that I just get beautiful stitching all of the time. And those are just some of the functions that I'm able to customize to make my sewing that much easier. Now, I do want to talk about the screen. And this is a 7-inch screen that is going to react like a tablet would. So I can scroll side to side. I can scroll up and down very much like a tablet. This machine has 368 stitches and 4 fonts that you could choose from and let me show you how easy it is to choose. Right now I'm on stitch number 1 with a straight stitch. It clearly shows me all of my options that I have activated, but by simply touching that number 1, it now opens up the screen and I can go up and down, I can go side to side. I really love that this is very intuitive. If you're using a tablet, a cell phone, this is going to react very much like those products. Now, I also have up on top my different category of stitches, which is also written out on my lid of the machine. So if I know that I want to go to scallop stitches, I can choose from the word, or I can scroll back and forth. So this makes selecting my stitches and what I will be doing just very, very easy. And you could see how quickly it responds. Now I am going to show you one of my favorite stitches on the machine, and it is in the practical section. It is a straight stitch. I know you're going to be saying, of all the stitches, this is your favorite, but you're going to see why. On number 4, this is a triple stitch. So the machine will be going back and forth, creating this beautiful stitch, and I'm going to adjust my stitch length. Right now I'm at 2.5, and I am going to bring that all the way to a length of 5. I very clearly see on my screen that the stitch has gotten longer, so I have a visual of what I'm doing. Now I'm going to do that trick again. I am going to cut that thread and remove it so I don't have a tail. I like neat sewing projects. And I am going to start. Look at how straight this pulls. I don't even have to guide it. I'm going to lock that stitch. I don't want this unraveling. And look at that difference between the straight and my triple. In that longer stitch length, I love this for top stitching on my garments. When I am quilting and I want to do some echo stitching around my blocks, this is just stunning. It looks like I used a thicker thread. I made no changes. So this is one that I use a lot. And you'll see that if you see me at quilt shows and you happen to see my samples, you'll see that I use that a lot. Even on my clothing, I sometimes will go over and do some top stitching with a pop of color with that. Now you saw how easy it was to go back and forth and pick different stitches. I just love that not only it's a nice 7-inch screen, just that, it's so beautiful. And I did apologize. I'm going to say that over and over again. That industrial heritage placket being in gold just pops. It makes me happy. And Kokuchi is the DX4000's name. And Kokuchi in Japanese means good feeling. And this really does give me a good feeling. It just makes me very happy when I see this. And I hope that you're going to be just as excited when you get it home as well. Now, on my screen, there are blue areas that are activated. I have activated locking at the beginning and at the end. I could change that to being off or to going, giving me a back tack. Now, I am going to start. I am going to stop, and it is going to lock. And remember how I said I like to hit that scissor button at the beginning? That's to eliminate this. where you're not clipping a whole bunch of threads. So that's my little tip. And I'm going to get a fresh piece of fabric. And the next column over is history. And I don't have a lot of history. This is a brand new machine, but this will save your last 10 stitches that you did along with your adjustments that you made. And I love when I'm working on something and I forget to write down the changes. And now I'm trying to continue and I'm like, what did I do? I have that all at really easy recall. Now, I don't know about you, but every so often I need to go back to a manual because I develop amnesia on how to do something. It can't just be me. So I'm hoping that other people are having to go back to their manual and then I have to figure out where I put it. What's really nice is when I go to the support, my instruction manual is right here. I love that at a glance, I can go to the manual and look things up. But I'm going to point something out that you may not know. As I am scrolling and I get to the index, and it'll get there, I can pinch and enlarge and really be able to see what the items are. Now, I am going to look at pivot setting. When I tap that, it brings me right to that page in the manual. You really thought Juki was going to make you scroll through hundreds of pages. No, no, no. It's just that easy. And I love the fact, just like on my tablet, I can see everything, or I could enlarge so that I could really see what those instructions are and be able to read easily. You know, Juki does think of everything because I do have my glasses on right now, but I am known for taking them off, putting them down, and then I can't see a thing. And at least with that function, I'm able to read and see everything that I need to on the screen. I have the operation of the main body of the machine, installing the table, installing the knee lift, just common functions that you may need to go to more quickly. So it even has that quick guide for you. And on the screen, it's operation of the main body. In my settings, there are so many settings that I could do to customize my machine. And the light and the brightness was one of those. So I could change my brightness of my screen and also my lights on my machine. So you'll see that went from a more yellow color to a very cool color. And that comes in really handy with certain fabrics that have a sheen, or if your lighting isn't quite what you need it to be in your room. I love that the type of setting is there, and I've used that often. My foot control. So here are my 7 functions. I have it set to none because I don't have my foot control plugged in, but all of those functions that I talked about. So just very, very easy to get through this. Now, there also is a Wi-Fi setting, and I did not set up the Wi-Fi setting. I did not want anything interrupting this live, so I'm going to talk about it, but I am not going to go into it. In the Wi-Fi settings, you're able to hook up to your router and your Wi-Fi. You put in your password, and you're able to get to YouTube videos and the Juki website. So I know there was one time I was working on a quilt, and I wanted to do the 2-color binding, and I never remember which way that fabric faces. So I was able, right at my machine, able to pull up that instruction, look it over, and then go on to my projects. Absolutely love, love, love that feature. And I think that you will too. I am going to go back into my sewing function, and I'm going to show you some of the stitches and some of the adjustments that can be made. The buttonholes, there are 21 different buttonholes, and if you're a garment sewer or a crafter, you're going to really appreciate all of those. And I am on my 1-point stitches right now. And I'm just scrolling through, and it just seems like these designs are endless. I am going to pull one up, and this happens to be a bow tie. Really, really cute. My stitch length at this point is adjustable. And the other thing that I love is I have extra adjustment ability on my length. So I am right now, I'm going as small as 9.6, and I could go as far as 36.6. And you could see how elongated those are on the screen as I change those. So I am going to hit that scissor to cut that thread, and I am going to stitch. It shows me as I'm going on the screen. I love how visual this is. Now, with a decorative stitch, you'll notice I'm not holding that fabric. It pulls straight. That 7-piece box feed dog is exceptional. Now, I know I do not want half of a bow. I'm sure you don't. By hitting that locking stitch, that's going to ensure that I never have a partially sewn design or stitch. I set up my machine for my thread trimming to be on so that when I do lock and finish, it completed and locked that stitch so I have no loose edge that's going to unravel. Now here I have one size. I am going to make that adjustment again to quite a bit longer, just so that you see how that adjustment, how you get such a wide range in that adjustment. And I'm going to let this stitch a couple. And I'm going to lock to finish it up. I love that it locks with that locking stitch with just stitching in place. And look at that difference, how much of an adjustment that I'm able to get on my stitches. I was really pleasantly surprised by that adjustment capability. And now when I go to history, it's giving me that listing of those designs that I did, those stitches that I did. One thing I wanted to show, and I have this put aside, when I opened up the box, right in that front lid was this beautiful white box. And it was set up like a little birthday gift. And Juki must have known my birthday is coming up. But let me show you how beautifully packaged all the feet that you get with this machine are. It's a padded box, but look at how neatly everything is in its place. The only thing I did, there was white cardboard that just kept certain things down in here, and I removed that so that you could get a look. but this is how you get your feet. I had gotten so used to getting a little package of feet in a little Ziploc bag. This was just a pleasant surprise to me. It's also kept me very organized. Everything has a place and a home, and it's just very easy to find everything that you're looking for. So this is something, it seems so silly, but this was one of those things that I was impressed by. And I went, oh, they really do get it. They really do know who their sewers are and what they're looking for. And this is just a nice way that Juki keeps me organized, because sewing can get really messy. And nothing worse than having to rummage around and not having a place and a home for everything. And that is done. Now, I said the spool caps are even that beautiful gray to match with that color. So, and I'm going to put that next to the white so that you see that difference. That spool cap, that extra spool holder were all made to match this, because it is important to have a pretty sewing room, isn't it? Now, one of the things that I am going to show you is a Juki exclusive, and I'm going to pull out a few pieces that I am going to show, and I'm going to get everything out of my way so that you could see what I'm about to show you. Now, I mentioned the 7-piece feed dog system, and it's a box system. And this is just really nice because all of your feed dogs are always in contact with your fabric. And that's why I was able to stitch with barely or not holding on to the fabric, and it just pulled straight. That's just a well-built, well-engineered, that technology that Juki has, that industrial heritage that gets put into their machines. This here that I'm about to show you blew me away. This was a game changer for me, and I am going to explain. Machines usually come with a straight stitch plate and foot, but Juki took it a step further. They give you a whole separate feed dog system that is perfectly shaped for that plate. And I'm going to try and show this the best way I can. The foot and the feed dog system are shaped to go together. So if any of you have any of the Juki straight stitch machines, that TL series, I know Blaine was talking about one of them, and the extremes that that person went to get that machine. By having this, it's turning my modern machine into a powerhouse straight stitch machine that acts and reacts a lot like those straight stitch machines. So I am going to remove my plate, and I have a handy little gadget to do that. And I am going to twist, and that just pops right off. Isn't that easy? No screwdrivers, no nothing. So now I'm going to come here, and I am going to remove my feed dogs. Sounds really complicated, but I just tilt it up, and I am going to put some black fabric behind this on the bed of the machine. So I think you could see a little bit better on the black than silver on silver. Normally, when you're switching to a straight stitch plate, your feed dogs don't change, because Juki is the only company that does this. This is an exclusive. When I put that foot on there, you could see those two long side feed dogs are no longer in contact with my foot, which is why a lot of times when you switch to a straight stitch plate, your fabric kind of moves left and right. You really have to hold it. Not with Juki. I now have a plate and a feed dog and a foot that all match up perfectly. You talk about precision. You talk about, as I said, a game changer, and this really was for me. Now, I am going to put the feed dogs back in. I'm going to try and do this one-handed, standing alongside of the machine so that you can see. I am tilting back and dropping in, and I have changed my feed dogs. Now imagine when you go to clean and you could remove those feed dogs, it makes removing threads and lint that much easier too. Now here's my straight stitch plate. I'm going to put the black behind it. So there's my single hole for my needle, and this is really used for garment sewing and for quilting. Now, I've made sure it was lined up. I am going to drop that down, and my plate is in. And I am going to get a notice because I was in a decorative stitch before. It is going to eliminate that stitch that is not appropriate, and it's asking me to check that my foot is correct, which I am going to put on momentarily. But when I go to my screen, it has turned this modern machine with 368 stitches into a straight stitch only machine. But unlike the straight stitch machine, it's giving me that triple stitch that I told you I absolutely loved, that nice wide triple stitch. Now, the machine has snap-on feet, and any of the feet that have an opening in the back can be used with my Smart Feed, that built-in integrated walking foot, dual feed foot. Has a lot of names, but always that same purpose. I am going to drop that down, and just that easy, I've attached the feet. So everything is a snap-on foot, but now I have turned this lovely machine into a straight stitch machine that just is a powerhouse. Now I am on a straight stitch. I am going to go 2, 4, 8. I have about 8 layers of fabric here. I am going to put that on there, and easy, 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 breezy. For all of you doing those bags and all of that quilting with thicker materials, now you have that 12-inch throat with that straight stitch precision and capability. And yes, you saw that. I'm doubling that up. That's a good 1/4 of an inch thick. And I am going to put that underneath there. Look at that. Just perfect. It cut my thread for me. I had a struggle with getting it on and off, but just beautiful, beautiful stitching each and every time. Now, I love that my machine is censored. I put that straight stitch plate on. It does not let me get to any of the stitches that would be harmful to the machine. So it knows when I have this plate on, and just as easily, I can go back to all of my stitching capability. So I'm going to show you once again how to remove that plate. I happen to like removing the foot, just makes it a little bit easier. I am going to twist, and that comes right off. And I am going to change those feed dogs. And I'm actually going to remove my bobbin just to make it a little bit easier on myself. And again, I'm going to tilt back, drop down, and I am all ready for my 7-point feed dog system to be activated and to be able to use all of my stitches. Now I force that down really hard just because this is a brand new machine out of the box. But I am going to put my bobbin back in there. And what I also love about the bobbin is this has a bobbin sensor. It warns me when my bobbin is getting low. Have you ever done that where you're sewing, and you realize you ran out of bobbin thread 20 minutes ago? Not with this machine. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a sip of water. I'm getting so excited, my throat is drying. So you saw how easily the feet interchange, the feed dogs interchange, and how everything has a home and goes back into place so that you find it easily when you go to do your next project. Now, I am going to show the buttonhole foot. This is a monster. I love the fact that it has the plate, but it's an electronic control. So not only by putting my button in the back of the foot does it regulate that buttonhole size, but the computerized system in the machine is going to give me picture perfect buttons each time. Now we're used to that lever that comes down, and as that buttonhole foot moves, it bounces and triggers it to go in that next direction. With this electronic sensor, and I'm just trying to make sure I don't catch my thread as I'm putting that in, I have on the side of the machine, and I am going to have to get in your way because I cannot see on the side here, I am able to connect that in, and now it's telling me check your presser foot, make sure you have the right foot on, and I do have the right foot. I am going to go to my stitches, I'm going to choose a buttonhole, and that easily. Now I normally would have a button in the back. I forgot to leave a button out. So I just open that up, but that allows me to put my fabric in, and I am now going to give you another tip. I'm going to lower and raise my needle with the button, and that brings my thread in between so that your thread doesn't get caught as you start doing a buttonhole. I'm going to lower my presser foot. I'm going to cut my thread. That way I don't have tails all over the place. And just like that, I am going to do a buttonhole, and I could do hundreds of these buttonholes, and they're always the exact size. Now, I know a lot of people that do get the DX4000QVP or quilters. I have been putting a lot of buttonholes into my quilts to give me pieces that I could button and unbutton and make removable pieces to my quilts. So the buttonholes aren't just for garments anymore. So I really wanted to show that buttonhole foot because this is really an upgrade to what you typically get, and I wanted to show that. But I love the fact that I am able to connect and have that electronic control to my buttonholes. Juki really does think of who their customer is and what they're looking for. And I love that they do that. Now I'm going to go back to the box. And I was talking about that AccuFeed system. And anything with that opening in the foot is a foot that the AccuFeed, that the Smart Feed could be used on, that built-in walking foot. So on this particular one, that stitch in the ditch, it will not take that. But one that I love that I'm able to is that straight stitch foot and many of the other feet that are included with the machine, including that open toe, which makes it really nice when you're lining up and doing intersecting lines. Beautiful, beautiful packaging of feet. Let me put a foot back on the machine. Really straightforward, really nice and easy. And I like that about this. I'm going to go over the buttons on the front of the machine. Some of you may be familiar with these, some of you may not be. So I really wanted to give you a clear understanding of just how powerful this machine is and how many features it comes packed with. I'm going to start on the bottom. So this is our stop start button. I am sewing without a foot pedal. You do get that beautiful foot pedal with the side function to it. But there are times where I just find it much easier with the foot pedal. I like having an ottoman under my table. My feet are up. My back is straight, especially if I am sewing for hours and hours. Stop start makes it really easy. I hit it and I just need to get to a stitch that's appropriate for what I'm doing. So I am going to go back to that. And it just starts sewing. It lowers on its own. Whether I hit lock or reverse, it knows that I have it set where it is going to lock and cut at the end. I could turn that function off as well. And now I'm turning off that cut function. And now when I sew and it comes to the end and I stop, it raised the foot. My needle is down because I have the pivot function on. So my presser foot is set to automatically lift. And this, when I do applique, when I do certain walking foot quilting functions, and I'm going to show you a design that I love to do, and it's just intersecting boxes and straight lines. And that pivot function makes this so easy. And what I love is I could turn this on and off as I need to. So I love how easy it is to go from having something on or off as I need to. Because if I'm hemming curtains, I may not want that foot going up and down all the time because I need to secure my fabrics. Now, my scissor function is right here on the front. I turned it off from automatic. I am going to touch that. It cuts my top thread and bottom thread, and I have a tail of threads at the bottom, and that is my scissor function. If you've never had this function on a machine previously, I'm going to spoil you because I can't do without it now. It's just one of those functions. My next one, I'm going to lower my foot, and my next function is my needle up, down. My needle is down, my needle is up. This function is absolutely vital when you're using the needle threader. Now I am going to, my needle did not come unthreaded. I had to unthread it, but oops, my needle came unthreaded. Now what do? there is a beautiful needle threader right here. I am going to do needle up, needle down to ensure it's in the correct position. Always, always, always do needle up, needle down before using a needle threader. Always, always, always. Did I say always? I am now going to move that thread. It is already by my guide right above my needle. And I am going to put it in this little beak over here that's number 7. I am going to cut my thread because that cuts it to just the perfect shape. And right on the side, I'm going to lower, I'm going to lift, and look at that. My needle is threaded each and every time. Love, love, love that. So my needle up, down, and when I showed needle up, down, I showed you that needle threader because they really are a married couple. Don't make them fight or get divorced. They need to be together and use together. Now my next function here, I'm going to remove the foot so that you could see this. Right now my feed dogs are up, and to lower my feed dogs, it is just that quick and easy. My feed dogs dropped, and now I'm going to raise them again. Please be aware that when you lower and raise your feed dogs need you to take a stitch before they will fully come back up. But I love that that feed dog button is right on the front. I'm not reaching to the back of the machine. I don't have to go to the screen. I don't have to go into settings. It's right here. They really do think about who's using it and what makes things easier for you. Now, my next button over is for the foot lifter. Now, I do have the lifter in the back, and I could go to extra high lift by using the lifter in the back, but I also have the button right here because maybe I'm holding on to something. I need to be able to reach it very quickly. I don't want to go to the back. Maybe I have a larger project I'm working on, and it makes it harder. So I love the fact that I have either or available to me. Now, my turtle and my hare, do I want to go turtle slow? And I'm going to show you how slow turtle slow is. It is locking right now, and this is it moving. I can sew and count the stitches and keep up with it. And there are times, especially when I am doing matchbook quilting and I want to get my stitches really close together. I do my line of stitches, I turn and I go 2 stitches in between for my next row, and it gives me perfectly straight lines, evenly spaced, because I'm able to go that slow. And now I'm going to show you, I'm going to go to the beginning of the fabric, otherwise I won't have enough room, it'll run off. Now the top speed is 1050 stitches, and I'm all the way on fast speed. It's going to lock, and look at that. Even at that top speed, it's just beautiful. I never need more than a fingertip as I'm guiding my fabric. That really is that industrial heritage. I'm really glad they put that sign there to remind you what a well-built, thoughtfully built machine you're getting. So we have our speed control, and I am able to move this as I am sewing. I really do like that I am able to do that as I'm sewing and get that beautifully done. I'm going to move on to a fresh piece of fabric. Now I am going to turn off all of my functions except for the foot going up and down. Now, If I want to do a locking stitch at the beginning and I forgot it's automatically here, I can do that right from the beginning. That needle goes up and down 3 or 4 times, secures that stitch so that as I keep going, I go right along. That lock will also stop me precisely, and now I have that pivot function on. And I'm just going to check my bobbin. Always trim your tails on your bobbin. I love how beautifully that loads, and it's got the cutter right on the side. Now my reverse stitch. It will go in reverse as long as I press it. And it will keep doing that. So I've gone over the buttons over here, and I wanted to go over just a couple of buttons on the machine, and I wanted to show you a couple of things that I love. I love that I have knobs right in the front of my machine. It isn't a button. For me, it gives me a little bit more control over the changes that I'm making. Now, what I have is my presser foot pressure, my stitch length, and my needle position. So on the presser foot pressure, I am going to show something that you may or may not know about the Juki larger machines, especially the Kokochi, the DX4000. Now, some of you may have our straight stitch machines, especially the TL18. Wave your hand if you're a fan. I see you all. One of the features that that machine has is micro lift. It is a height adjustable foot for when you're sewing very thick fabrics. What if I were to tell you you have that on this machine? So as I adjust my pressure and I am going to 0, once I go into that negative number, my foot will raise up. And I think I'm going to put black fabric underneath because it may be easier with the black to see that. I am now going to negative and my foot raises up. So my foot is all the way down, but it is raised and giving me extra height so that when I am making those bags and I'm going through webbing and foam and all of those layers, it gives me that extra height to be able to do that. And I'm going to bring it back into my normal setting, and my numbers, the white numbers are my default. The blue numbers are a change that I've made. So they make it really easy to see when you make a change. So something as simple as pressure foot pressure with the Juki DX4000 goes over and beyond that normal function. I love that height adjustment that I'm able to do with that foot. It really makes this a workhorse, just that power machine that you're going to go to for all of your projects. Now, my needle position is my button in the center, and center is 3.5. And as I move that, my needle moves, but also I am getting that movement on the screen. I am able to go all the way to the right at one button all the way to the left with another button. So as I am, especially for the quilters, that 1/4 of an inch and I want to go a little scant, I can go as scant as I need to or want to with this function. So I really like that that function is there. But now I'm going to go to tension. How many of you are baffled and confused by tension? You don't understand when you move that dial what thread is going where and how it's adjusting. On my screen, my blue thread is my needle thread. My gray is my bobbin thread. And as I adjust the tension, I am pulling, if I didn't hit that button and turn it off, my bobbin thread to pull to the top. I can adjust that so that my bobbin thread pulls to the bottom. And when you're doing decorative threads and doing things that you're going beyond normal sewing, I love the fact that I have a visual of what making that tension higher will do and what that end result is. Very, very visual. I have never seen this on other machines. So this to me was one of those that I went, oh, when I saw that. So I tapped the screen. I am back on here. I love that everything is just so well lit. I'm able to adjust how bright that screen is, but it just gives me a lot of information, including the foot that's most appropriate for the function that I've chosen. I have my settings, which will let me go flip or flop, horizontal and vertical, and just moving my stitches around. And I'm going to go to a decorative stitch where that may be seen more easily. So here I have my blanket stitch. And when I go to that setting, I could flip whether my teeth are going to the right or going to the left. Really easily, right on the screen, without going through multiple pages. So I really like that. My cover and my bobbin, I'm going to show that once again. I have that thread cutter right on the side of my bobbin. I have a tension disc and it's clearly numbered. So it just works so beautifully with being able to take that on and off. On the top of my machine, my bobbin winder, it's really tough to see, but it is a simple flip of a switch and it starts turning and activating. I don't even need my foot pedal or my stop start button to activate that function. Beautifully done. I love that they didn't skimp on this color, even on the top of the machine, all the way through. That color has gone. Now I'm going to show, here is a blanket stitch. I caught my thread in my foot. So before I have a problem, I want to just move that. I am going to cut that thread so that I don't have that tail hanging out, and it is locking. I'm able to switch that to a different direction and just go back and forth to my stitching very, very easily. Now, as I'm stitching, I could make my length, I could make my width changes as it's stitching. I'm going to lock. again, cut. And just going from very close together to very further apart, going narrower, going wider, just so many easy to use functions that you're able to do with the machine to really make your sewing and your projects. I've done everything from upholstery fabrics and home deck projects to quilting to garment sewing. I'm really not afraid to put any type of material under my Juki foot because I know it could handle it. So I love that about the machine. Now, I am also going to go through here, and again, just so easy to maneuver through. And I'm going to show you just how beautiful some of these stitches can be. And I don't remember if I said, the package of stitches is 368, 4 fonts, just very beautifully done. And I'm going to do that rope design. I'm going to speed it up. All I need is a fingertip to keep it straight, but really it pulls beautifully on its own. I just love how quiet the machine is as well. And let me show you, look at how beautiful that stitch is. Just a beautiful quality, front and back, just really, really well done machine. I am going to go back to my automatic trimming on my machine, and I do have those. I am able to turn on and off my locking at the beginning and at the end. I love that it's all right here for me. And just so easily, I'm able to change stitches and really scroll in any direction that I would like to, including even some wording that's pre-done on the machine. I'm going to go to one of the heavier stitches, and especially with this color thread, I think you'll be able to see just how nice. And even at that fast speed, does a beautiful job. I'm locking, and that's also going to complete. It's going to cut. Just perfect. Just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, my smart feed is that built-in dual feed foot, that walking foot. I lowered it. I'm going to do that again in hopes that you could see that action right where my fingers are. I'm extending my fingers so you could see that mechanism. I'm pulling down, and that gives me that upper set of feed dogs to the top, so that when I have multiple layers of fabric, it will feed. And even with a decorative stitch, it's going to feed beautifully, but I will go to a serpentine. Usually with the serpentine, with that movement, your fabric shifts that little bit. And what that dual feed does is my fabric is perfectly lined up at the top and at the bottom. So my fabric starts out nice and even, and as you're stitching, that fabric creeps and crawls. This is what that will eliminate. For quilting with multiple layers, and also for garment sewing. you're lining up plaids and stripes. This is where a walking foot or a dual feed system originally started, is with garment sewing, especially for lining up stripes and plaids and just matching up all those notches and different areas that need to come together for a proper fit on garments. And you have that. And you not only have that with, you have that with my 1/4 inch foot. So that 1/4 inch foot is notched out so that I could do that stitching. But I am going to show you, you do have that 1/4 inch foot with the guide that comes with. I am going to show you how I like to do 1/4 inch stitching. I am going to go to the practical, and stitch number 3 is 1/4 inch. My needle moved over and I line up my fabric to the edge of the foot. What I like about this is that full width, that full wider foot, because that standard foot is a little bit wider than the 1/4 inch are holding on to my fabric. So I can do that 1/4 inch stitching with my regular foot or with the foot with the guide. And when I use the foot with the guide, my fabric is coming right to the edge of that guide. And I'm just going to slow my machine down a little bit and let me get to the right stitch, because I now want to use the stitch number 1 with that center needle position. And that is going to give me the 1/4 inch with a guide. So just multiple ways of doing the same thing. And all of the tools you need are right there. I did want to show the storage tray, and I'm going to open that up. I promise you I had this open earlier. And the back also opens. So look at all that storage that you get when you are not using your table. And again, everything has a molded area for the foot. And you also, in your quick reference guide that's in the box, it tells you what belongs in each one. So they even give you that recipe to follow to keep yourself neat. That back section, really nice to hold that big buttonhole foot or other things. I really like my M&Ms in here. We have to have a little bit of fun as we're sewing. I have started showing you some of the feet that come with, and I'm just trying to think, and I'm going to check if there were any questions that came up along the way. I'm just trying to clean myself up and to show the next items that are with that. But just a beautiful machine. And I wanted to step back so that you could really see the full picture of the machine. This is the DX4000. It's the Expert Edition. It is a limited edition. So once the run of these machines is sold out, they will not be available again. And I love that I could get something this special from Juki. And the fact that you're getting the roller bag and the scissor. But if I know SMP, when you call to order yours, I bet you're going to find that there's an extra surprise that's been thrown in, because that's just something that SMP likes to do. They really take care of their customers, and they always like to make you feel extra special. And I just heard from a little birdie that that might be happening with this as well. So don't be too surprised if you hear that when you call in. I'm going to repeat some of the features. 12 inches from the needle to the throat. You have that extra high height. The adjustment that can be made for the lighting, really nice and special. 368 stitches. Just the quality that goes through this is really very nice. I am going to double check on my time. Blaine, how are we doing? Do I have any questions?
That's a little. You know, I was going to tell everybody right now, Alba, if y'all have a question for Alba about this machine, go ahead and put it in the chat right now so we can ask Alba before she gets out of here. But let's see what we've got. Does it come with an extension table?
The extension table is on it right now, and this is the table that comes with the machine. So it's on here right now. And
Okay.
I have my regular storage tray.
All right, and then Burnett is asking, how many stitches does it have?
368, 4 fonts.
How is it with leather?
How will it do leather?
Yes, as long as you're using the appropriate needle. If you're going to do a large project with a leather, I would probably check with SMP and get the smooth foot, which is that Teflon foot to make it easier to glide through. But I do leather work and vinyl on this all the time.
Okay. All right, that was Kathy Brooks asked that. Brenda's asking, what is the stitch width?
It is a 7mm maximum stitch width.
Okay.
Can you wind a bobbin while sewing?
Judy's asking, can you wind a bobbin while sewing?
Judy, I'm going to have to double check. So let's find out together. So as I am
All
sewing,
right, Andrew, go straight to her so we can see the camera.
yes, I can.
There we go.
So I do have that independent motor.
Does the needle move left or right?
All right, does the needle move left or right?
Yes.
Or left to right? I'm sorry, left to right.
I cannot sew sideways, but I do have full needle movement to go from one extreme to another, from 0 all the way to 7mm.
And then they're asking, is the machine a high shank or low shank?
It is a high shank. And I even double checked that.
You have to oil.
Did they ask that?
Yes, 2 people.
Yes, you do have to oil the machine.
Two questions on that.
Yes, there was two people asked about oiling the machine, and I can answer that one. Yes, you need to oil the bobbin case.
Free motion stitching.
And it is in the manual with how to do that as well. And there are a couple of Juki videos on that.
And then Elaine is asking, can you do free motion stitching?
Yes. And you get a ruler foot and several, a ruler foot and a free motion foot come with the machine.
Will it sew with double needles?
Yes, it will. And it does have the twin needle safety on the machine. Always test your stitches by hand with a twin needle.
Okay. Does Alba come with the machine?
Where do you live? I might come visit if you're...
Need instructions directly from her. That was Diane saying that. So, yeah, Diane, where you live at? That you might work a deal.
Blaine, we may have to work a deal where I do a seminar over by you.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You know, Kyle was just talking about it. He said, well, hey, we could do a virtual event. So anybody who buys this machine we'll set up a virtual event with Alba giving you some instruction. How's that?
I was hoping to come to California, but yes, absolutely, that could be worked out.
Well, you never know. We might have something for you to come here to as well. So that's good. It says,
cold New Jersey right now.
So. Oh, I know. I know y'all are getting some really bad weather there. So I'm not going to rub it in too bad, but it's not too bad out here. But it's not our usual 75 degrees. It's been getting down in the 50s. So.
Oh. I feel so bad.
I know when I say it to people, they're like, man, that seems like a warm front. All right, Alba. Well, thank you so much for coming on. That was an incredible demonstration, great detail. Everybody loved it. And now I'm going to tell them how they can get it, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Absolutely. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right, bye, Alba. All right, everybody, that is the DX4000, and this is this expert edition. And I tell you what, the picture does not do that justice at all. This is such a good-looking machine with the gold badge on it. You get the letter of authenticity with that and all this. Plus, you're going to get that free bundle that Juki has, which is that rolling tote and that scissor pack. Also, we have an SMP bundle, and you have to call in to get the special. It is a great, great price. The normal price on this is $44.95. We have a fantastic price on it today. Plus, we have that extra bundle. So give us a call, 800. Oh, yeah, and we're going to do group training with Alba. So whoever buys this, we'll set up a Zoom training with Alba, and so it can take you through a little training, and that'll be cool with that. So 800-401-8151, and we're going to make this special all the way through Saturday close of business. So close of business on Saturday. I think we close at 4 p.m. Pacific time. You have until then to get this special. So basically, you're getting the rolling tote, you're getting the scissor kit, you're getting the SMP bundle, which you'll have to call to find out what it is, and you're going to get instructions with Alba on a group Zoom. We'll figure out how we'll do that, but we'll get that done for you as well and get some great instruction where you can ask her questions one-on-one. So give us a call right now, 800-401-8151. We have all of our sales staff standing by on the phones to answer all your calls. So get on there and do it now, because this is a great, great sewing machine and a great special today. All righty. So that ends our show today. Thank you all so much for coming on. Got to say a big shout out to the SMP Nation. Last week while I was in road to California, Jane and I said, y'all shamed my wife into coming to Ontario. And guess what? Michelle drove out there on Friday night, stayed all night, and hung out with us, and got to hang out with Jane and Belle Bruner and all them. So she really enjoyed it, and she came home Saturday morning. So thank y'all for getting her to come out. And I was telling her, I was like, you need to come out here. I hadn't seen you in a week. I've been out there so long. And but also, I want to share an email that I got. And from, how do you pronounce her last name? Burkhauser, right? It's Margie Burkhauser. So Margie, I got to kind of tell you about this. So she watches our show, and she said a big shout out because Jane actually pronounced her name right. But she watches our show. She's in assisted living, and she watches our show all the time, and she, never wins anything. And she basically, some of the staff of the assisted living was in her room, and they were, as she was watching the show, and as they're all sitting there watching it, and she basically just said, hey, I never win anything. They were doing the giveaways, and guess what happened? Her name came up, and bam, she won on our show, and Jane pronounced her last name right. And so it was pretty good. And so she said it certainly made her day. And I'm sure that everybody in there was cheering for her as well. But that was pretty good. She's like, I never win anything. And bam, there she won. So anyway, I wanted to say that. Thank you for the email. I thought that was great. And thank y'all for joining in today. I tell you what, this was a little bit longer show than normal, but we felt like this machine was so important that we really need to go into some details on it, and Alba did a fantastic job of doing that. So, all right, are y'all ready to win some stuff? I'm ready to give away some stuff. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to give away a $25 gift card to SMP. And so Andrew, spin that wheel. Do we have some spinning music going?
Oh, yeah.
I think we need some spinning music. Belinda Bryan, look at there. So Belinda, congratulations. Belinda's watching today from YouTube. So Belinda, you just won yourself a $25 gift card to Sewing Machines Plus. So what you need to do to claim that prize is to go to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information, hit submit, and what we're going to do in turn is we're going to email you a gift card code, and you can put that code in at checkout. It saves you $25 off the purchase. All right, next up, we are going to give away one of our world famous sewing mats. We have 13 different colors to choose from, 4 different sizes. We're going to let you pick your size and color. And so, Andrew, spin that wheel. We are getting some. I just got Kyle. Let me wait till he gives us away, and I'll tell him what we're doing. Mary Kelly. So congratulations, Mary. You're our winner watching today from YouTube. So Mary, you win yourself a sew mat, and you can go to SewingMachinesPlus.com. Up in the very search bar there, just type in sew mats. It'll take you to the product page. You can click on this, and you can pick what color you want and what size. You can look at all the different dimensions for the sizes. But then just to claim it, go to smplive.tv or down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize. Fill out all that information in the note field. Just put in what color sew mat you want, what size, and we'll get that shipped out to you. All right, let me tell you the announcement about the sew mat. So the sew mat, everybody's been inquiring about all these brand new big machines, the top of the line machines that Brother, Baby Lock, Bernina, Janome, Foth, and Viking all came out with, okay? They're a little bit bigger than normal. So we are announcing we got double X mats being made. Kyle just got the artwork to me yesterday. We got them ordered. They're 2X mats. They're 45 inches wide by 24 inches deep. And so it's going to be able to have enough mat for your big machines to sit on. And we're going to have them in the blue, Brother Blue, Baby Lock Gold, and the red. So we'll have them in those 3 colors to start out with. And so those, hopefully we'll have those in about 60 days. And you'll be able to purchase those. And I don't have a price on them yet, but we'll get you a retail price. So probably a little bit more money than the other ones, just because of the size. But it is going to be a big sew mat. So looking forward to having that for everybody. All right, so next up, we are going to give away one of our T-Touch label makers. This is from Brother. This is a really cool little printer. It actually Bluetooths to your smartphone, and you can do all the work on your smartphone, hit print, and it just prints it right there. This is a $130 value. We're going to give 2 of these away today, and we're also going to give you about $80 worth of tape to go with it, a bunch of extra tape cartridges and sizes and colors and all that. So you get a pretty good little bundle here. So Andrew, spin that wheel. Living and Crafting with MS. So congratulations. She just won herself, I like her picture there too, won herself a P-Touch label maker from Brother, and she's watching today from YouTube. So what you need to do to claim that prize is go to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information, click connect, and we'll get that P-Touch and the tape right out to you. All right, let's draw one more of these. Andrew, here we go. Starflower is our winner. And Starflower is watching today from YouTube, so congratulations. How to claim that prize. Again, you're going to go to smplive.tv, scroll down toward the bottom of the page where it says claim my prize, fill out all that information to complete, hit submit. And once we get that information, we'll get you your P-Touch label maker sent to you with all that extra tape. So it's about a $200 value. So with all that stuff added up. All right, everybody, thank y'all so much for watching. That concludes our show today. We hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed Alba, and I hope you love that Juki machine. I tell you what, that thing is awesome. And I wish you could see it in person because the colors are just beautiful on it, and it's a lot sleeker. It looks just real modern and sleek looking. Very high-end machine looking, but the price is not. But it's a great looking machine, and it just, on the camera, it just doesn't do as well. But it's a beautiful machine. So I hope that if you're in the market, you'll take a look at it. Give us a call at 800-401-8151 if y'all are interested in talking to them about it. And anyway, we hope that y'all have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And make sure you tune in next Tuesday for Takeover Tuesday. And I'll see y'all next Thursday. All right, so long.